Hello, Jean. Thank you for joining us today. It's so nice to see you again, even though you're frozen, but it's still nice to see you. So, Jean,
Hi, Ronnie.
yeah, it's been way too long. So, can you introduce yourself to us and let us know where you currently are and what you do?
Hi, my name is Jing Lu. I'm studying and working in San Diego. And yeah, now I'm staying at home all the time because I'm a teacher
Okay.
at school. But all the schools are closed right now in the US. So basically, I have nothing to do right now. Just stay healthy.
Okay. So, Jean, just to make it clear, you are from China, right? You are from Ningbo or from Hangzhou, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when did you go to the US?
So I moved in San Diego in 2016 December
Okay.
until now. Yeah,
Okay.
almost 4 years.
Okay. Wow. So you've been in San Diego for 4 years, and just to be clear, San Diego is such a beautiful city, right? Because that's actually where I used to live before I came to China. But you are currently in San Diego pursuing your master's degree, correct?
Right.
Oh, okay. And so right now in San Diego, in California, it is in the middle of the lockdown, right? The quarantine period.
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
has that been for you? Can you give us a little description on what it's like to be living in the U.S., especially in California, during this quarantine period?
Well, to me, because it depends, everyone's different, right? But to me, most of the time I always stay at my apartment, in my
Okay,
apartment, and I try to be responsible for the society.
right.
Um, but a lot of people in the beginning, like in February, March, in San Diego, people don't really care about this coronavirus, right? They thought just something fake news. I don't know.
Right,
People were still going out a lot. They don't wearing a mask because the culture is different, right?
right.
They think wearing mask is something insulting. I don't know,
Okay.
or maybe it's not polite
Mm-hmm.
to people when face to face talk to each other. But now, couple weeks ago in California, they have a new policy. When you go out, everyone has to wear the mask and
Okay.
do the social distance.
Okay.
But like, I stayed home almost from March 16 until now.
Okay, March
But
16th
you know,
until now. So you've been quarantined and at home for probably for more than 2 months, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so
And uh-huh.
no, no, sorry. Go ahead.
But in California, they reopened, right? Everything slowly, like 10, 12 days ago. Some
Okay.
of my friends, they already, started their work and they also start their social life again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that now in California, a couple of weeks back, it was mandated that everyone has to wear a mask. So now it is the law in California that you have to wear a mask when you go outside.
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't wear a mask, what will happen to you?
So, like, 2 days ago, I went to a grocery store
Right.
and they said, "Oh, you have to wear a mask. You should not bring your own shopping bag to the store. Otherwise, you will not allow to get into the store."
Oh, really? Okay. Have you felt that, being Chinese, have you felt any sort of discrimination in the U.S. because of this virus? Have people looked at you any differently?
I don't think so
No?
because I think California in the U.S. is special state. They're more open to the immigrants,
Okay.
right? Actually, a lot of people from Mexico
Yeah,
here,
okay.
so people are very friendly, just normal, really normal as before.
That's good to know. So do you feel like the measures in California that are being taken are maybe too strict, Like, do you feel like your freedoms are being, encroached upon?
No, not
No.
really. No,
Okay.
you can still going out. You can still hang out with your friend, but not just in the public place, too close to each other. But we can still hang out in our own apartment.
Okay. Right. So, is there like a policy where you can only go out like once a week or once a day to do grocery shopping?
No, this never happened. Actually, in the beginning, I was hoping the government can actually make this kind of policy,
Right.
but not really. I mean, people still can go out wherever you want to go out.
Okay. So, have you been going out?
Um, yeah, I go out for shopping, purchasing the food.
Right.
I go out to meet some of my friends, but not just in the public place, like whatever bar or restaurant. But the,
Hmm.
the bars already open
Okay.
last weekend.
Okay. So the bars started to open last weekend, and have
Mhm.
you been out to the bars since they've opened?
No, but when three of my friends they went to Hillcrest, which is the
Okay.
street with a lot of clubs, bars.
Okay.
They went there last weekend. They said, oh, actually, the restaurant and bars have a lot of people.
Oh,
Just
really?
people just keep the social distance, not
Okay.
too close.
Okay. From what I remember, Hillcrest in San Diego is a very cool area, right? It's an area with like a lot of bars and restaurants, but it's also an area that's known uh, for a big, gay community there, right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So, Jean, when do you finish with your master's program, or are you already finished?
I finished on Friday actually.
Oh, you finished last Friday or this coming Friday?
Last Friday.
Oh, okay. So, congratulations on finishing your master's degree. That must be a
Thank you.
very exciting time for you. So, Jean, this is a very tough question now. So, once you finish, now that you're finished, do you plan on staying in the U.S. to pursue your future career, or do you plan on going back to China?
I was planning to stay in the US before this coronavirus, matter.
Hmm.
But after this, I think I want to move back to China because I'm the only child that my parents got,
Okay.
and I don't know because according to the situation right now, I think this is not gonna be end. Maybe coronavirus is gonna be end of this year or next year, but I think they have another kind of virus in the future.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, I think so because, humans are overused the resource, I mean, nature resource.
Right.
This,
Okay.
because no one knows.
Yeah.
Maybe not gonna happen, maybe gonna happen again, but I want to be close to my family, especially my parents.
Hmm.
They're getting older.
Right.
10 years later, I probably would go back to China, but I mean, 10 years later, that related with like medical insurance, life insurance,
Hmm.
and I'll be 40s. So that gonna be more complicated
Right.
about benefits, right? This part in China. So I think I would move back to China
Okay.
in July because I already bought a flight ticket.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you've already bought your tickets to come back to China in July. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually interesting because we actually met up. The last time that we met up was actually last summer in New York City,
Yeah.
and I had a great time. Right, we had a great time
Yeah.
catching up, and during that time, you were contemplating, like after your graduation, whether you want to stay in California or move to the East Coast. So I think at that
Yes.
point you were thinking about looking for
Yeah.
jobs in like New York City. But now you've completely made up your mind to come back to China. So I think this
Hmm.
coronavirus has really helped you make that choice, right?
Yeah, because I want to stay close to my
Right.
parents and my family, friends in
And
China.
after coming back to China, do you know which city you want to settle down in? In Hangzhou or
Right.
in Ningbo or Shanghai or
Actually, because I lived in Hangzhou more than 10 years before I moved to the US,
Right.
and I would prefer to live in Hangzhou again.
Okay.
And the good thing, the lucky thing is I already found a job in Hangzhou.
Oh, really? Wow, that's great. What kind of job did you find?
I will work with international school in Hangzhou.
Okay, great. So, overall, during this coronavirus period, where you've been mandated to stay at home, well, not mandated, but you've pretty much been at home for the past 2.5 months. What have you been doing at home to keep yourself busy? Because you haven't been going to class, right? Or you've been going to class on
On Zoom
online,
meeting. Yeah.
via Zoom, right?
Yes.
All right. So, besides going to class via Zoom, what else have you been doing at home?
I was doing a lot of assignments,
Okay.
a lot of papers to write. I also tried to start the business with my friends in Europe and in the US.
Okay.
But this situation right now is kind of difficult because all the shipment, like delivery company, their
Okay.
price is really expensive.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh, okay. So, do you have any advice for fellow Chinese people who might be in the U.S. right now at this moment, or to any Chinese in the whole world? What would you say to them?
I think, stay safe. That's most important. Because it's kind of like you're responsible for the whole society,
Right.
right? Responsibility. Be more patient and keep positive. If have better opportunity in the US, then stay in the US. I mean, US is great country,
Right.
But I mean, in China, of course, China also is good country. So what you have to think really carefully what you're gonna do in the future. You need to know what do you need or what do you want in your life.
Right. Okay. So thank you for that, Jean. But actually, I have a very crucial question now. So you know that China has closed its borders to all foreigners, right? And to most foreign
Mhm.
flights. So even though you've already bought your ticket for July, are you going to be able to come back in?
I spent a lot of money on the ticket. I bought two flight tickets. One's from LA directly to Shanghai.
Right.
It's American airline, but I don't think that flight would be actually fly to Shanghai.
Right.
So I bought another ticket. Is from LA to Paris, then
Okay.
Paris to Shanghai.
Right.
Because in Europe, right, in France, now they're doing good job of
Right. But the thing is,
Uh,
Jean, like it doesn't matter where you're flying from, right? Because right now the current policy in China is that all foreigners, right, and all foreign flights are pretty much still banned. So, are you sure you'll be able to come in July?
um, yeah, because I I asked a lot of my friends and I did a lot of research.
Right.
There are like 3 flights every week from France to
Okay.
China, but
Okay.
there's no flights from the US to China. There's 3 or 4 different airlines
Right.
from the US to China, but they're all from China. It's like a Chinese airline.
Right.
But the relationship between the US and China now is kind of like weird and
Yeah, it's kind of
intense.
frosty right now, right? So
Yeah.
so none of the American airlines are flying into China. But if you want to fly in from the U.S., you can buy from a Chinese airline, right?
Yeah, but the ticket's like 70,000 RMB.
Seventy
That's
thousand
crazy.
RMB. Is that for a round trip or for a one-way ticket?
One way from LA to Shanghai or
Okay,
Guangzhou.
so a one-way ticket from U.S. to China right
Mhm.
now is going for 70,000 RMB, which is the equivalent of 10,000 US dollars, and that's just that's outrageous, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, but so you've already bought a ticket from
Mhm.
LA to
Yes.
Shanghai, right? So are you going to be able to get a refund for that ticket?
You mean the one I bought from American Airlines?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they said will do, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, because I know my brother. He recently, because he's in like New York City, right? And he was planning on going to Eastern Europe with his friends during this time period, and because of the virus, everyone's plans had to get canceled. And I think when he
Mhm.
called the flight to try to get his money back, they told him that. Well, at first they told him that he would get a refund, but now they're telling him that he can get a credit. So you need to be careful, right? Because the policy might have changed.
Yeah, I mean, I was not put so much hoping on this. I mean, right. As long as I can come back to China, right. And because I've already found a job. I have to be on the school in August something.
Okay.
But don't forget, I will have 14 days quarantine when I get in Shanghai.
Oh, that's right. So once you go into Shanghai, you have to be quarantined for 14 days, right? And you have to be quarantined in a hotel, and it's under your own expense, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So make sure you book a nice and comfortable place because you're gonna be there for 2 weeks, right?
Well, my budget would not be enough for the nice one.
Right. But it's okay. So, Jean, one last question. So overall, do you feel like the U.S. and specifically the California government, do you think is doing a good job in containing this coronavirus?
It's difficult to say. Every country has their own problem, and that's how I always tell my Chinese friend and family, because the government in the U.S. is very different.
Right.
With the government in China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trump, yes, he's the president of the U.S., but he's someone cannot say, hey, I want to do this thing, I want this thing to be done by tomorrow or whatever. There's another, like, all the states leaders too, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, so in the U.S., and I'm sure most of our viewers know this, but in the U.S., it's a two-party system, right? And it's
yes.
and not only is it a two-party system, but it is a system where there are state governments that also have a say. And because there are 50 states in the U.S., there are essentially 50 governments that also have a say, right? So it's not as clear cut as it is in China, because in China it's a one-party system, and basically whatever the president of China says can be implemented very, very quickly, right? So that's one big difference between the U.S. and China. But Trump does get a lot of pushback from Democrats and from a lot of people. So and it's not as easy to govern the U.S. as it is to govern China. I think that's the overall takeaway, right? But overall, do you feel like people in the U.S. or in California, do you think they are doing their best to try to contain this virus? And I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about the citizens. Do you think the people or like the people that you see who live around you are cooperative in this whole situation?
Yeah, I guess because different culture, different background. People have different view of everything, right? People here is more, how do I say, they're not overwhelmed about this situation or this virus.
Mm-hmm.
They're more like being positive all the time. They do whatever they need to do, just like a normal, Yeah, and somehow I think they're more, how do I say? I mean, like positive for things,
right?
Not panic, panic.
Okay.
Yeah, and somehow I think this is good.
Okay. So, according to you, most Americans are more optimistic, right? So maybe they don't worry as much about this virus. But at the same time, that can also be kind of bad, right? Because if you don't worry, then maybe you don't really see the true danger, right?
Yeah, you see the number, so you will know
Yeah.
the number here, right? The patient.
All right, Jean. Well, I really appreciate the fact that you can, join us today. Thank you for, giving us a few minutes of your time, and we hope you continue to stay safe. But most importantly, we hope that come July you'll be able to actually come back to China.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, thank you, Jean. It was so nice to see you again. Okay, so take care, and
Thank you, Ronnie.
yep, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, okay, bye bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.